way you see the hidden narratives in history and society challenges the mainstream. Questioning the narratives and seeking truth is crucial. What do you think should be done to unveil these hidden truths?
Well, follow my podcast, Wisdom Synergy, and you can go to wisdomsynergy.org and you can, join a community of collective knowledge, of your own experiences and, your own insight. You guys can always, let's learn together, because, if I can get people around the world and stuff, too, to join my, if they want to just talk about some things or whatever that's going on, that's what I'm trying to get to. I have a vision. You know what I'm saying? I want to talk to people from around the world on this podcast, via Zoom or whatever. However, we phone call, on video, and just to really get a good idea of our true past. You know what I mean? Because when you share your things on a personal level is how we learn best. And if I can create this community where everybody is, a brilliant mind and questioning everything and just looking at things a little more logically and simpler, don't complicate things. Because if you look at something and you see it and whatever you think is if something's a little bit off about it, you're probably right. You know what I mean? All you gotta do really is pay attention to the way your brain is acting, because your brain is not always right. You know what I mean? Your brain is awesome. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's like a big filing cabinet, and it just, refers to. So when we have, repetitive things done to us, or just the control that we don't even know is happening, but that's what's affecting us. It could be in our food. There's a lot of ways, and you see how they act in politics and stuff. I don't trust people that act like that. You know what I'm saying? They're fake. They're fucking. They have an agenda. Whether they know they're part of the agenda or not. You know what I'm saying? It goes that deep. Use this for an example. If they want to, keep some people away from an area, you know what I mean? For a little while, so they can do what they want to do, they make a phone call and they say, hey, we need a couple road flaggers down here and, detour some traffic and shit, And the thing is here is so they get there and they're working, you know what I mean? But they don't even have no idea what they're detouring for. And nobody's asking nothing. I mean, they can do it right in front of your face. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a slap. It's a slap to the face because we are so worried about, the tomorrow that you were worried about yesterday. It's it's a toxic, we're in a toxic way of looking at things. You know what I mean? So I'm starting this podcast and I feel like I'm not good enough and or whatever, but then I gotta stop myself and tell myself because because I was supposed to collaborate and try to reach out for people, and I know I'm different, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Everybody's different, and we do, but it's the point of they won't take me seriously usually. This is in my past. So trying to start this podcast and be new, you know what I mean? But it already, just everything about me comes out. I wear my heart on my sleeve, okay? It's the best, easy way to put it, long story short kind of thing. It's so I'm nervous, you know what I mean? So I reached out to people and stuff, but this is my thing. It's my brain always goes back to thinking okay, well, they want the link to your podcast channel and stuff, and so it's just my brain programming how we are to think is to think you're nervous and you're not good enough probably crosses your mind, or just things, them toxic things, and I you know what I'm saying. So it's it's like when you're saying you can't do something too. It's like part of that effect of in your brain. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm questioning things, and like, no, I'm thinking like, and I know it's not true, but I'm thinking like, no expert's gonna want to come on here and talk to me, you know what I mean? But you don't know, like, I just hope people take me a little more serious, because like, I'm trying to build a community and get like this, let's call it a groove, you know what I mean? Let's call it a groove of learning or something, because like, when you have people learning on a personal level and sharing experiences and insights and things like that is how you get somewhere, okay? You take that knowledge, just like AI does, you get the, you do the algorithms or whatever the fuck you want to call it, analyzes the numbers, and just like when you're born, you're given that social security number, man, from birth, okay? You are programmed from birth. As soon as you're born, they give you that number. It's part of an algorithm, I'm sure. It's got to be something. You know what I mean? They know you before you know who you are. Like, it's been around for thousands of years. AI's been out here for long. Just, it's been hidden. A lot of any kind of technology or ancient technology, it's like, they've been... And it's all in a timeline of I ain't talking like really even thousands of years ago, really. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about even like 200 years ago, 300 years ago. Shit gets really fucking sus. But anyway, back to what I was saying about, so your brain, it's tricky, man. It's really fucking tricky, because you almost gotta, how do I explain this? And then I'm not an expert or anything like that, you know what I mean? I am speaking from personal experience and like my own life and like, things I observed, okay? And I feel like it's proof to me, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to prove that this magic that we have is real. So, if you're interested, wisdomsynergy.org, you can support the channel. We can dive deeper, you can join the community and rock out. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, you can... And it can be fun. We don't have to be super uptight, you know what I mean? Or whatever. If you are uptight, it's fine. I'm not, that's not the point. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter who you are, or where you're from, or whatever, because anybody that's going to be into this stuff anyway is going to be open-minded. And that's what the main goal here is too, is to get people open-minded and get them asking questions, and stop stereotyping and judging everybody and thinking I'm not good enough, because like, I know I feel the same way, like I started this podcast on intuition. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue what I'm doing, but you know what? I've been hard at it now for like 2 months, like day and night, non-stop, and like, I'm learning a lot and stuff, and I'm working hard. And I'm reaching out to people, which I was nervous about. But I found this one guy who's really, really cool. And he does healing with, like, sound, I guess. Sound. And he plays guitar, which is gnarly. I love that. And, he's, like, super cool dude. I forget his name right now at the moment. I'm sorry about that. But I hope to have him as a guest here on the show sometime soon. Because, like, what he can add to what I'm trying to say here, would be really, really cool, because he's a real mellow guy, and like as far as I know, I gotta look into him a little bit farther. I'm sorry, but he's really, really. I think he went to schools and stuff and got like some degrees and all these, which to me is great for him. But to me is like really don't mean much. I'm more interested in who he is and what he does. You know what I mean? Like, from a personal experience, like, that's what I'm trying to do, is reach people in a personal, share your insight, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm just trying to question things and say, what are your thoughts on this? And like, because I think logically, and like the things I ask about or interested in aren't really that far out. You know what I'm saying? To like, it's just stuff that's right in front of our face, okay? And I'm gonna mention this, okay? There's this book, and it was called The Crowd, and it was out in like I don't know, 40s or 50s or something like that, and it got banned and stuff like that, or outlawed or whatever you want to call it, around the world, some places, because they believed it was releasing too much information about how they control the mass, the population and stuff. You know what I mean? So this book, you can find it, and it's disturbing. You know what I mean, in a way, because I didn't think it would be that easy to control us. I thought we were stronger than that. You know what I mean? I thought we were really. I thought humanly, naturally, capability wise, I'm not impressed with anything I see. And no, it's not, no offense. Maybe it's coming out wrong. I don't want it to come out wrong, but I'm saying, okay, what I'm trying to say, whatever I'm saying here is I feel like we need to rethink a lot of things and reanalyze what we are taught, okay? Because I feel like humans are much more capable of so much more if we weren't thrown into like a rat race type thing and here's the education, this is what we're going to teach, and that's it. Questions that are too bizarre or whatever, we don't have time, it's too much, and all this rush, it's like, what are we rushing for anyway? Why are we rushing for anything? Why is time always clicking in my background? Why is time a thing? Because time stresses you out, man. There ain't enough time in the day, I'll tell you that much. It's just another one of them things to where it's like, okay, another example of precision. I'm learning this too as I go. So it's like, there's another example of precision for you. If you guys, man, think anything I'm talking about is cool or, interesting, if you have some of your own personal experiences and can relate to this stuff, because I don't really know what it is that, okay, I'm special, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is or what I, possess or have or abilities. I feel like I'm capable of so much more, that's what I'm saying. I feel like we are, the keys that we are given, that everybody should have worldwide, every single person, doesn't matter. We get these keys that, how when you go through life and you reach certain levels of things and because I just had a spiritual awakening not long ago and it changed my fucking life, man, quick. I was really, really depressed at the time, and really down, man, not getting out of bed, just, it was getting really bad, and I was getting scared, I'm not gonna lie, it's scary shit. It fucks you up, bro, it paralyzes you. Anyway, so, I had this, I've always been into theories and stuff, and I'm always very curious and ask a lot of questions about just about anything. If I look at something and I see something, I'm like, well, just think about how is that even possible? Or wow, what? I don't know, whatever you call that too. I like to analyze things, and I'm curious, I guess too. So anyway, what I'm saying is, you start to notice things, and then when you see it repeated enough times, whether in your life or whatever it is you're looking into or research, say if you're doing research or something, and you start seeing repeated outcomes, you are gonna start to notice some things, just like AI does with the algorithms, like it does when you're born with, what I mean? It keeps tabs on everything. Just like legalizing the gambling and shit, they knew, they ran these numbers until they were blue in the face knowing that they were gonna fucking bank, unbelievable amounts of, and then the mental state that it puts everybody in when they're gambling is not healthy, bro. I get, shit's fun and all, and I have, I'm not gonna lie here, I'm gonna be really honest, what I mean? you know, I've got my paycheck right, and like I'm like, what the fuck, yo? Like, it didn't take me long to realize like what the fuck was going on there. You know what I mean? And like, addiction's tough, man. I know all about it, and it's another thing that is like, you know, this is the thing I'm trying to point out too, is like, they are very, you know, you know, here's cancer, and then we'll sell you the cure too, and all this other stuff. It's like, at the a lot of red flags should be going up, I think. You know, they are for me personally, and it's only my opinion. All this stuff, you know, I'm not saying I know facts or anything like that. I'm just trying to share my personal experience, and I'm curious if anybody else out there is feeling these ways, you know, or feels anything that I'm talking about is like tickling your fancy or whatever, you know, or catches you, you know. Feel free, or more than free, man, to just like share it with Wisdom Synergy, man. You know what I mean? Like, let's and this is the thing too, and I can relate to it. It's embarrassing, you know what I mean? Like me talking to this camera and stuff. Like, it's just, I'm not used to this stuff at all. I just feel like I should be doing this. You know what I mean? So, you know, my brain's naturally programmed to think I'm nuts, you know, I'm crazy or whatever. And like, you know, people are going to doubt me. You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, this is the thing about brain programming. You need to actually, like, every day you need to, no matter what it is you're going into, like, you have to have a mindset. And it's not the point of whether you're going to be good at it or not going to be good at it. It's the point of the mindset of going into it like this. It's like, you know, whatever they're doing, say they're playing basketball or something, okay? And you feel like, man, I can't even dribble a ball, or, you know, whatever. I know what you're saying, you know what I mean? And that's your brain thinking, like, it's kind of stopping you, and you're thinking, I can't do that shit, you know? And it's a shame, because, like, this is the thing. If you go into that with a mindset of, yo, give me that ball, yo. You know what I mean? Like, let's play some ball. What's up, yo? Let's bring, yo, take them to the hole, shit. Whatever the fuck, you know. It's the mindset, okay? It's not like whether or not you're the best basketball player or not at the moment. It's not, that has nothing to do with it. It's the mindset of going in there open-minded, okay? Like, and like, you don't have to, like, you know, this is when I say when you believe in yourself, it has magic, because it's like, okay, you're going in there with the mindset of, yo, give me that ball, you know what I mean? We're gonna play some ball, bro, and we're getting it in, you know? Awesome. And like, I know like basketball's not my probably, you know, I'll probably throw a brick or two. I'll be the laughing stock of this fucking game probably. But the thing is, not the point. The point is that mindset, because when you do go into things like that, you don't know that one thing that, you know, you might fucking be good at, or whatever it is, you might miss it because we're not paying attention. You know what I mean? Or we're like, oh, I can't do that. You don't know. You don't know until you try something. You know what I'm saying? You don't know anything until you ask about it. If you're curious about something, ask about it. If it's something that like is inside of you and in your head that, you know, no matter what, it just keeps coming back to your thoughts and stuff, it's a sign, man. You need to pay attention to that stuff, man, because, like, it keeps coming back. You know what I mean? It's like the universe is, like, saying, yo, so every so often it's smacking you in the face with, like, these red flags, and we're just, like, too blind to even see the damn things, which is sad. But, you know, when you start to wake up a little bit and you start seeing, and then, you know, when you believe in yourself, okay, and like this is on this mindset thing, like when you go into something, like you believe in yourself, it's a magic, it's magic to me, man. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to use guitar as an example because I play guitar. So when you're learning guitar, it's a foreign object in your hands, okay? When you first pick up a guitar, it's insane. And I remember a long time ago, like, I seen Eddie Van Halen on the freaking MTV, man, with his pink pants on.
You've been through a heavy time.
Right, so I seen Eddie Van Halen with these pink pants on and shit, and I'm like, he comes out, puts a cigarette up in the headstock, sits down on the stage, and starts, you know, this whole thing. And, like, I was a little kid, just sitting Indian style on the floor watching MTV, you know, but, like, blown away by this guy's, like, ever since then, man, like, I was like, guitars, man, it was like, so we had like book reports in school and shit. It was on guitars and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, that was what was on my brain a lot. I'm a little disappointed in myself because, like, I didn't know what I knew now. So I wasn't committed enough when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was definitely into it, and I paid attention to all the good guitar players. I knew all of them, you know what I mean? I could tell you what they played and what, you know, the band they were in, their names, everything else. I was like, and if it was music involved, this is another thing, I could remember shit. If it was music related or something like that, dude, I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? I've been, bam, dropping names, anything you want. What year it was, fucking album it was, what the fuck. It was like, it stuck, you know what I mean? That was personal to me. You know, so when the music was related into it, it was personal and it stuck. I learned stuff. I wasn't stupid no more. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, you know? It's just a shame it had to fucking take so goddamn long because I'm 43, man. I'm only starting to wake up here around, what, 35? I mean, I've always been kind of waking up. It's just like, you know, when you're super tired and you're trying to wake up and you know what I'm saying? It's like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it takes a fucking minute, man. But once you start waking up, get moving and thinking and open your brain up, bro, yes, you're going to know what I'm saying. So the power of believing in yourself in something is like this. I started playing guitar and you start to hear your progress. You know what I mean? You're practicing. You know, to me, it wasn't practicing. It was, I liked it. And I never took any lessons. I don't know music theory or nothing like that, okay? For me, that would have probably fucked my shit up and I would have been like, oh, this ain't for me. And it's fucked up I say that because I'm saying don't, you know, go, you know, but I was open-minded, so I didn't believe that I couldn't. It wasn't that. It was just, I was more into playing it. You know what I mean? And not trying to dive too deep because I noticed with myself and my opinion, when I do that, I start getting, you know, funny. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta keep things simple. You know? I operate much smoother and, you know, I operate better. Just simple. I mean, like, people say I'm complicated and they're probably right. What do I know? You know what I'm saying? But listen, so when you believe in when you're playing guitar and you hear yourself and you hear your progress and you're putting in that hard work, because you can't just expect you to just pick and you're going to learn overnight. It's like you got to be ready to put in the work. You know what I mean? So you hear your progress, you're putting in the work. You're like, oh, this is cool. You're like, you know, look what I can do, kind of thing. Because all guitar players want to show off. If you don't, you're lying. You know what I mean? Any guitar player. Anyway, I love everybody. Listen. So when you hear a little bit of progress and stuff, and say you are taking lessons, or you have a brother like I do, and they hear you playing and they're like, well, man, you're getting pretty good, you know? Or you go to music practice or lessons and the teacher's like, dang, bro, I can tell you've been practicing. My son just came to me and I can tell he's been practicing. Casey is awesome. That boy is 8 years old, dude, and sat down at a drum set and, like, picked it up with nothing. Like, you know, I was like, what? Wait, where? Who? Casey, what the hell? I said, give that boy some drumsticks, man. And he's like, well, I want to fuck with the guitar too. Well, he's not cussing, but he's saying, I want to play guitar too, Dad. I'm like, yeah, little man. Okay, because I got guitars. I was like, you can, you know, take a pick, man. He picked a nice Jackson with a Floyd Rose on it and shit. He picked a nice guitar, you know. I was like, here, man, it's yours, you know. Because I encourage that, you know what I mean. And he comes to me. Well, this is funny. He comes to me and says, I like Slipknot. I'm like, wait, because I wasn't pushing nothing kind of like on him. You know what I mean? I was like, you know, anyway, I'm getting a little personal. But anyway, when you believe in yourself and you see your progress, you're putting in that work, you know what I'm saying? And Casey, too, my son's going to start to notice this. And I'm happy for him because this is magic, okay? You hear your progress, your brothers and hear you, your families, they hear you, and like they're like, wow, man, you're getting pretty good. This is cool, you know, it's awesome. And like, you know, then they encourage you to like maybe break out and try to get a band or play out, you know, some clubs or bars or whatever, you know, get yourself into the mix and into the scene. And say, okay, so you're playing still and you're practicing, and this is like, you know, it's time consuming learning to play. So it's not overnight. But anyway,
you're like, okay, you know, and you feel like you're ready, and you feel pretty good because you're playing good. People are giving you good feedback. It feels good. It's nice to hear good things about yourself. That's magic too. That's another episode. But anyway, believing in yourself is like this. So, say you work up enough nerve and you do reach out to some people and you go and you play it at the bar or open mic night or whatever it might be. And people are like, they hear you now, okay? So this is like building a little bit of a power behind you too with this believing shit. So you're playing out, and then you got people out there like hear you, like, oh, man, these guys are cool, man. Look, they're rocking out, man. You know what I'm saying? They're coming up to you and saying, wow, you guys are good, man. I really dug what you were doing. You know, smoking dope. It was cool. Cool. You know, everybody's like, yeah, right on. It's that energy, but they're building to your power because now they believe in you too. You understand what I'm saying? They're digging what you're doing. You know, you put in the time and the work, it'll build your power because you believe in yourself and you got this far. Now they believe in you. Okay? You start playing in front of more people. You know, it builds your power, your magic. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, if you really, you know, and if it's what you really want to do, you know, tour around, whatever your goal is with the guitar, or whatever it is, you know, I don't know how to tell you how to go about that because, like, I've always just gone with the flow, and my life has been bumpy. It's not smooth. You know what I'm saying? Boy, not smooth. It's been a rough ride, man. But listen, I want to prove how this is real because think about this too. Think about football. You guys like football? I played football in school, you know, and I liked it. When I was a kid, I loved sports. You know what I mean? I was a sporty go-getter. I was a real kid, man. I was all about it. You know what I mean? So I signed up for football like as soon as I could when I was old enough, and you know, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was a little boy. I had no clue. I didn't know how to get the pads on, bro. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Mouthpiece and helmet and all this stuff. I was like, oh man, look at me. You know, I was like, damn, this is cool, kind of different, you know, exciting. Because, you know, as a kid being at home and shit or wherever you're at, it's like stale. You know what I mean? It's like you just want to do stuff as a kid. And like, so I signed up for football and I took to it. I didn't know what I was doing. So this is like the first or second practice, you know what I mean? Like, where I'm there with all these kids I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm wondering if I want to get hurt. You know what I mean? I'm like fucking scared like a little bitch. You know? And then like, you know, I don't know if I got the uniforms on right and shit. Like we had to go and get shoes and, you know, all this stuff is involved. You know what I mean? So we got that far. It's like, you know, ooh, yeah, now you're geared up and you're starting to believe in yourself. Like this is real. You know what I mean? Like, look at me, I'm in, you know, all this football stuff, and I'm ready to play, but I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. I'm just ready. I'm ready to go. So my first or second practice, you know what I mean? Like they're doing drills and shit, and like, you know, seeing what strong points kids got or what this and that. You know, I'm trying to run laps and shit. I'm like, oh my god, it's crazy, yo. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like I didn't know if I was cut out for it. I was starting to doubt myself from the gate. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, whew. It's a lot, you know. I was like, damn, this is a lot. It was a workout, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it's good for you. You know what I mean? But this is what my point is like, I had that mindset of kind of like, I don't know already. At my second practice, I was like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this shit. So, it was the second practice. We worked out, stretched, and random laps I'm talking about. And I'm like, I don't know. You know, I'm like literally in the middle of, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So, they're showing us some drills and stuff, you know what I mean? So, you know, we're all gathered together and shit in our little uniforms and shit, ready to play football. And, Brian, get up front here. We want to see what you can do here, Brian. Get up front. Let's see. So, you know, here I am in my pads and shit in front of all the, you know, these other kids that I don't fucking know really. Like, and like, I don't know. And, like, I was like, okay, you know, so I'm a friendly, not very shy kind of person, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, what's up? You know, let's do this. And they're like, all right, we want you to get down, you know what I mean? Like, take your stance and all that shit, like, and get ready. And you're gonna like, you know, block, you know what I mean? You're gonna hit, and you're gonna push, and you're gonna, You're digging in, you know what I mean? They were like, you're like a wild dog. We want to see you when they snap that ball.